Well, hi again, everybody. It's Greg. And, I make these YouTube videos and I usually talk about clocks and gadgets and fun stuff, And today I thought I'd just shift gears just a little bit because I want to talk about something. It's my recent weight loss. So, of course, I have to give you the usual disclaimers, This is my experience, just me. I'm not telling you should try what I tried. And please, if you're just consult your medical professionals and all that stuff. But let me just tell you what happened to me. Because when I was a kid, teenager, into college, I was a scrawny kid. I just couldn't gain weight no matter what I tried. I tried working out a lot. I wanted to bulk up on my arms and shoulders and have a good physique. But I just always stayed skinny. And I worked at a movie theater most of the time through high school and college, and so I was pretty active. To go upstairs to the projection booth, it's a little bit higher than a normal one-story flight of stairs to get up to that projection booth. So I was going up and down the stairs all the time. And when I got on my long shifts working at the movie theater, I would normally just not take time out for a good meal in the middle of a shift. And so a lot of times I'd get home late, too tired, go to bed, not really have a great, wasn't feeding myself all that often. And so I kind of developed this idea that I never really had to watch my appetite because when I did eat a lot, it didn't seem to affect my weight at all. And so this continued up until my late 20s. I started working more on movie sets. And if you don't know, on movie sets, there's a caterer who will provide breakfast and lunch, and if you work really, really late, you'll get another meal after that. And in between those meals, you have what's called craft service. And the craft service person, their job is to provide snacks throughout the whole workday. So there'll be a little craft service cart, maybe there'll be some fresh fruit there, or also just prepackaged goodies, crackers and candy and just whatever, also sodas and water, just this. And if you got really hungry, you could go to the craft service truck and make a sandwich, and just grab it and go and keep working. So there's an abundance of food on movie sets. And I, again, did not have this discipline to control my appetite. So what happened was throughout my 30s, for that 10-year span, I think I gained probably about 30 pounds. And to me, I still thought I was active enough, and I still thought I wasn't overeating. I didn't think, but I was just eating a lot. So it wasn't like having really huge meals and feeling stuffed. It was just always kind of putting a little something more in my mouth throughout the day. Also, the way that I would gain weight at that time, it wasn't as though it was this gradual, every 4 months I gained a pound until at the end of 10 years I was 30 pounds heavier. It wasn't that. It was more like I would go for maybe 2 or 3 years and then suddenly gain 5 or 6 pounds. Just not thinking that I had done anything to alter my habits, my level of activity, my eating habits. It just suddenly 5 more pounds, boom. 6 more pounds, boom. And that was the new normal for, again, a couple of years, then I'd gain again. And this was a mystery to me. And people would say, well, your metabolism slows down as you get older. Well, I don't know. I don't feel different. But I feel heavier, of course, because I was heavier. So again, through my 30s, probably about 30 pounds. And through my 40s, probably another 40 pounds is what I gained. And so here I am now in my early 50s. And here I am, 70, 75 pounds heavier than I was 20, 25 years ago. And again, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm not a heavy guy. I'm a scrawny kid. I don't gain weight. All these things that it's not like a matter of denial. It's just that I was never thinking in those terms. Until finally, I saw some pictures of myself recently where you could see myself from head to toe, and I just was not looking good. I thought, no, this is no good. I mean, people won't even want to hire me because I look so out of shape. So I decided to do something about it. And so the first thing I did, and this was very recent. As I'm sitting here recording this, we're at about 6 weeks since I decided to do something to just really handle this. And I'll say that here I am. I'm 6 foot 1 inches, somewhere right in between 6 and 6'1". and I was up to 250 pounds. Now, over the last 5 years or so, I would say I would vary. I wasn't always 250. I would there was about a 5 to 8 pound range. I would just kind of go up and down. Sometimes a little bit more than 250, but usually not. Usually it was between 245, 250. It just seemed to stay there, and there was nothing I could do, I thought. Until I started looking at what are my habits. And one habit that I had was I was snacking a lot during the day. Even working at home, working not on a movie set where someone is providing snacks all the time, I knew there was a cabinet full of snacks over there. And every time I happened to go up to get a glass of water or just had to stretch my legs or go to the bathroom, I might pass by a cabinet full of snacks and thought, oh, I'll just grab something and go back to work. A lot of sitting and not as active of a lifestyle, but still I'm bouncing around all the time and I'm doing things. I'm just not completely sedentary. But again, I was eating a lot of snacks in between meals, and walk past the freezer and there are ice cream bars in there. It's a couple hours till dinner. Why don't I just take one? That's what they're there for. So that was the first thing I thought. I'm going to just stop the snacks entirely. Cold turkey on in-between meal snacks. And another thing I did, I observed kind of what other people are doing, where it's, my wife, for example, would have a very small lunch every day. And she seemed to be in great shape. So I decided to start doing that. So this was, all of a sudden, it was no more snacks between meals, nothing. If I wanted a drink, it was water, that's it. My breakfast has been, during these last 6 weeks, normally it is now just a glass of milk with maybe that instant breakfast powder mixed into it. That's it. No other breakfast. And lunch, something very simple and very quick. Maybe it's, I'll get one of those little cans of Campbell's chicken noodle soup, for example, and I'd fix up the whole can, which according to the can, that's 2 servings, maybe 2.5 servings. But I would just have chicken noodle soup. That's my lunch. So the thing to keep in mind here is that I'd cut back on my eating substantially throughout the day and figured I'd have a reasonable dinner. Now maybe at dinner time, rather than having 2 helpings, maybe just 1 helping or a helping and a half compared to what I was doing before. So my calorie intake must have been way down all of a sudden because of no snacks, very small meals until dinner time, and dinner time also being a little bit smaller. But other than that, I want to say I didn't alter my diet especially. I wasn't like suddenly saying I must eat low-fat food or I must eat more vegetables. Or I was eating what I would normally eat for dinner, just not that much of it. And also some increase in my activity level. I dug my bicycle out of the garage. It was kind of buried behind some things, and I didn't want to have to clean up the garage. But I found the bike and got out on the bike and did some riding on the bike more than I had before the last few years. So a couple times a week on the bike for somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes, plus my complete change of eating habits. And I should say about the eating habits that it hasn't been a huge adjustment for me. I thought, I maybe feel hungry all the time, my stomach growling all the time. And while there is some of that, it's not all the time. One thing I was notorious for is if I got hungry right before bed, I might just have a big bowl of cereal and then go to bed. And now I don't do that anymore. So I may go to bed sometimes now feeling a little hungry. Oh, I'd love to have a little snack. And what I do is maybe have a glass or 2 of water and go to bed. And it's working out so far. Like I said, I don't feel hungry all the time. So what are the results after 6 weeks? After 6 weeks, I've lost 20 pounds. Yes. And I didn't think I'd be one of those guys that would ever say that about myself. That seems like an extreme weight loss in a short period of time. So, but I also didn't think I'd be the guy that weighed, 70 pounds more than I did when I was in college. So here I am. Now, I don't know going forward. It's only been 6 weeks. I don't know if doing things with this same approach that I have is going to continue to be effective. At some point, I'm expecting to kind of plateau and say, no, this is all that happens. Maintaining this lifestyle of activity and eating, you're going to get down to this weight and just stay there. Maybe that's going to happen, maybe not. But I'll keep you informed. What I'd like to do is maybe get down to at least where I was 10 years ago. So I'm halfway there. 20 pounds down. If I go another 20 pounds, that'll be 40 pounds down from my peak. And that will be where I was 10 years ago. Now, according to, you see some charts online, BMI, the body mass index, and they'll tell you that at my height, right now, at 230 pounds, I'm still class 1 obese. If I lose 5 more pounds to get down to 225, I will simply be overweight with a body mass index of 25 or below. And then if I want to get down to what they call a healthy range on some of these charts, I would have to get down to about 190 or even maybe below that, let's say 189, and then I'm suddenly within what they call a healthy range. So we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm just going to call myself satisfied if I can get down to 210, which is where I was 10 years ago. And that will be just overweight. And if the pace seems to be okay, if I'm still losing, right now it's like 4 pounds a week almost. If I'm still losing 2 pounds a week, maybe I'll keep doing it and see how far I can go. I guess I'll try for getting down to 190, see what happens. Now, what have I noticed as a result of this weight loss? Well, first of all, my clothes are feeling looser. I was getting to the point where all the clothes I like to wear that had lasted me for years and years and still weren't worn out were not fitting me anymore. And I was trying to decide, do I just get all new clothes and throw away my old clothes? But there was that part of me that said, no, I think I could lose weight. So some of my clothes that I wore before are fitting again. And some of the clothes that I did get more recently are too loose. That's okay. That's a small price to pay, I suppose. A whole new wardrobe. The other thing, sometimes I go to the grocery store that has a pharmacy and they'll have a machine that automatically measures your blood pressure. Now, I've heard people say you can't trust those machines, but I will say that I've tried those machines off and on over the last couple of years. And lately they've been telling me consistently that my blood pressure is getting to pre-hypertension. I should watch it. Yeah, whatever, who trusts the machines? But I'll tell you what, since losing this much weight, I go sit at those machines and try it out. And even though maybe they're not the most accurate machines in the world, they are telling me that my blood pressure is in a better range than it was. In fact, maybe it's not even in an abnormally high range anymore. Now I can say I have normal blood pressure after just these few weeks. So I'll keep working at it. The weather's going to change, so I won't be able to ride the bike as much outdoors, but I do have an exercise bike now that I can use indoors through the winter. So if it comes down to having to change this approach drastically, maybe I'll do a follow-up video and let you know if this works anyway and I just lose another 10 or 20 pounds. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video and just let you know about my progress. So again, this is not advice to you. I guess this is meant more to say it's possible. And I've done it without any special consultation with anyone. I heard an ad on the radio for some program you could sign up for, and they would give you a shopping list and tell you what to eat. And someone on this commercial on the radio said, I lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks. And I thought, well, okay. Well, I did that without having to have someone dictate to me, this is what you will eat today. Here's your shopping list. You go get this. It's just a matter of self-control that I never really thought about before. So that's what worked for me. But I'd have to say, and this is just common sense, you got to find what works for you, and don't be discouraged, especially if you don't maintain this pace that I've had, because this pace might not maintain for me. I knew that with my weight gain, probably these first 10 or 20 pounds were going to be very easy to get rid of, because I figured that was just sloppiness on my part that I even got up that high. It's just sad, that here we are in this world where supposedly we're always talking about each other's bodies all the time, and we're always watching each other's bodies all the time, and we don't seem to know how to take care of our own bodies. What's that all about? We don't know. We all eat. We all eat several times a day, and yet we don't seem to understand what we should be eating or how we should be eating it. We want to consult with professionals to tell us what to eat. That's sad. We've got bodies. We eat. We should know how to do this by now, right? I mean, we even say like, don't start a new exercise program unless you talk to your doctor. I suppose that's common sense, but it's kind of sad that we can't even go that far without having to ask someone else for permission. I guess I'm learning, and I hope that's some encouragement to you. If you feel like you don't look the way you want to look, you don't feel the way you want to feel. I do feel like I have more energy. I feel like I can bend over and tie my shoes without feeling like I'm out of breath because my stomach is too bent over and I can't breathe. I was having that a little bit, and that's going away. So yeah, I mean, I talk about things on these YouTube videos mostly. I talk about clocks, and I talk about solar panels, and I talk about batteries, and I talk about whatever. So I don't often talk about myself. But this is something that I think is important, and I'm happy to share some encouragement there. I want us all to be healthier, and I want us to all use common sense and take care of ourselves. And I hope this helps you out.